What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the CrownHoops Podcast. My name is Jordan Daly. With me this week, as always, we got the whole crew: Stacey Collier, Mike White, and Ben Okazawa. Say what's up, guys.
What's going on? Let's do it.
What's up?
What's up?
All right, we are on to episode number 38 now. We got actually a lot to talk about now. The past couple weeks, we've somewhat had to stretch a little bit to get content, but I feel like a lot's happened since we've last met up. So we'll just kind of jump right into it with how we've started the last few episodes. The Last Dance finally finished up. Sadly, I wish it was continuing. I was kind of upset. We'll get into that, but kind of want to talk about your opinion on the final two episodes that we watched. Kind of final thoughts about the whole documentary. Mike, we'll start with you.
First off, great documentary. The last two episodes were great. To see Jordan and the Bulls complete another three-peat against another. You know, a lot of people talk down on the competition they went against, but to see Karl Malone and John Stockton, we had the trivia this weekend, the guy leading in steals all time and assists. See Jordan have to go against some of these teams. You know, it may not seem impressive to us, but these were tough teams they went against. And he stopped a lot of people from winning rings. So I enjoyed the documentary. We got to see behind the scenes, like we said last week. I got to see behind the scenes of everything that happened with Jordan. Got to see the hard work, the grit, the struggle. You know, a lot of people, the Jordan fans, make it seem like he never lost. So it's good to see he actually, you know, he came in, he struggled. He had to actually fight for a championship. And it's good to see, you know, the drama that went on. You know, everybody thought everything was just perfect, but they had the drama with Jerry Krause and Jerry, if I say his name wrong, Reindorf, or however you say his name. So it was just good to see. It was good to see the behind the scenes. And, you know, it's good to see Jordan come out on top and actually, you know, come out and talk, you know, because he's not a big talker. He doesn't come out and usually do a lot of things. So to get behind the scenes and actually see him come out and be surreal was great. So I enjoyed it.
Okay. Ben, what about you? What were your thoughts on the documentary?
I loved it. Just literally everything Mike said. Seeing Michael Jordan as a human, especially for, you know, someone who I never got to see Michael Jordan play. He retired, I think, after the 2003 season. I was born in 2001, so it's not – I was never really able to watch him play live at all. But, you know, he still, to me, has this kind of godlike persona around him that's been built as him being the GOAT for so many years. You know, 2 3-peats, 6 of 8 in the finals in 8 years, all that. But watching him, like Mike said, go through all that struggle, the bad boys, the losses to the bad boys, the loss to the Magic the season he came back, and then, you know, just watching everything he went through in his last few years, dealing with the management and just his relationship with his teammates. It was all really cool to see. So yeah, no, just all in all, I think it was, first of all, good for Jordan's reputation, and, you know, just good for us in general as NBA fans, because not a whole lot else to watch.
So as someone who, in my situation as well, didn't really get to watch Jordan, you know, growing up. Obviously, we're kind of too young for that. Does your opinion on him, or does any of your thoughts change on him as you've seen this now?
I guess I didn't know. I knew he was a competitive guy. I've heard the stories, the golf stories and all that, but I didn't know quite to the extent that he pushed it, I guess. I didn't know he punched Steve Kerr in the face. That's a fun story. I didn't know about any of, you know, his poor relationships with teammates and management and all that. But as far as, you know, just who he was as a player, I think it just built upon his legendary status to me. The shot he hit against the Cavs was ridiculous. Shot that game winner against the Jazz was ridiculous. So to me, it kind of just built upon who he was as a great player.
Okay. Stacey, what about you? What are your final thoughts of kind of wrapping this whole documentary up?
My Sundays would never be the same again. I'm going to miss just spending 2 hours watching The Last Dance. But my thoughts overall, I love the documentary. I wish it wasn't over. My perception of Jordan doesn't change. I always thought he was the greatest player of all time. And this documentary just amplifies all the reasons that I had. And it was good to see Jordan roll out his thoughts and his feelings about things that he went through from the time he stepped into the NBA until that last season with the Bulls. And very eye-opening things I saw and heard, and him getting all emotional about his time in the NBA and like all the background stories and everything. It was just fantastic. Now this documentary does come with a couple controversial things, but overall I really enjoyed the documentary. I was entertained, and I was inspired too. So shout out to everybody that made that documentary. Shout out Michael Jordan.
Yeah, I agree with pretty much everything that you guys said. Like, I thought it was awesome, and I'm kind of in the same situation as Ben, as I didn't get to really watch MJ growing up because he was before me. So it was kind of cool to, see behind the scenes and see kind of, step by step everything that happened to him and how he became, the player he was. So that was really cool to me. One thing that I thought was left out, but then again, you hear the name of the documentary, so it kind of makes sense. I kind of wish they touched up on his return with the Wizards, and more of, how he left in his announcement. They didn't really cover that too much. I mean, I understand why they ended it where they did, because it's called The Last Dance, and that was about that final trophy year. But I just feel like that they missed, a part of his career. It would have been good, even if it was like a bonus episode, just to kind of go over that. I think that would have been interesting. But Stacey, you mentioned that there was controversy over, The Last Dance documentary, and two of his former teammates stepped up recently. It was Horace Grant and, more surprisingly, Scottie Pippen. Horace Grant said that, it was kind of a one-sided documentary in the way that, MJ completely produced this entire thing on his own with his own staff, his own team, his own people. So, if anyone disagreed with him, it wasn't going to get aired. They weren't going to get a chance to say they disagreed with him or anything like that. It was pretty much, at MJ's discretion what was going to be put into this documentary. So that was one of Horace Grant's problem with it, and he said it wasn't even a documentary. He said it was a movie. And then Scottie Pippen, which kind of surprised everyone, came up and said he felt he wasn't portrayed accurately. And I think that comes off of, those last two episodes when they showed that final playoff run, and he got hurt and he kind of wanted to sit out, but he didn't. MJ didn't really make him look too good there, and MJ kind of portrayed it as like, oh, he just needed Scottie in the game to just have a distraction so like he could do what he needed to do. So I guess I understand it, but I kind of wanted to hear you guys' thoughts on, his former teammate stepping up and making some comments. We'll start with you this time, Stacey.
Okay, first of all, for Horace Grant, I think him coming out, I think it was like a lot of hard feelings. It's a lot of animosity between him and Michael Jordan. So, of course, I expect that from Horace. For Scottie, I'm surprised because, for one, all those things actually happened. It wasn't a lie. We seen it. We seen him basically quit in the playoffs, and he was the leader on the team. We seen him get injured. We know about how he missed a whole bunch of games that last season together with the Bulls. And then I was confused because Michael Jordan gave Scottie Pippen the ultimate compliment. Michael Jordan said there will be no Jordan without Scottie Pippen. I mean, what else you want him to say? I mean, and then you in the documentary confirmed all those things. So I was confused about what Scottie was talking about. And as far as the documentary being biased, of course it's gonna be skewed towards Jordan Wade. He was the biggest thing in the world at that time. He was the leader of the Bulls. Of course it's gonna be told more from his perspective. Documentaries are not really that objective. They gear towards somebody's goals all the time. So that's how it played out. So that's my take on Scottie and Horace Grant.
Okay, Mike, what about you?
I mean, I like how you ended that. That's basically what I agree with. I mean, it's Michael Jordan, not Horace Grant, Scottie Pippen. With all due respect to those players, that's Michael Jordan. A lot of people's GOAT. Number one player of all time, killer. Of course, it's gonna be geared towards him. He doesn't even talk. So I mean, if he's gonna put out a documentary giving you behind the scene footage about basically his life, I understand it is about the Bulls and they were talking about the last ride, but let's be honest, it was basically mostly about Michael Jordan as well. They showed history of some of the other guys too, but it was more in depth about Michael. So it's going to be skewed towards him. It's going to be, geared towards him, probably make him be seen more in a favorite light. But I mean, at the same time, like you said, Stacey, I mean, Scottie did those things. He said, I think he got surgery during the season or something that could have waited when, they were trying to chase the championship. He sat out that last year for a long time. That's why he had to rely on Rodman. But it wasn't just Scottie that showed things. They showed Rodman's ass at WCW during the finals. I mean, what did you expect? It's a doc. They've been shooting it for a long time. I mean, of course, people are going to feel away. It was a sensitive time. Probably a lot of emotions that haven't been talked about probably between those guys. So everybody's not going to be happy with what you put out. But at the end of the day, if Michael Jordan say, hey, I want it this way, or it's not getting put out, it's going to be this way, or it's not getting put out. So I understand those guys being a little bit upset, but they'll get over it, man. It's Michael Jordan.
Okay. Ben, what about you?
I mean, to me, not at all surprised that Horace Grant had something to say about the show. Michael Jordan did say that without a doubt, Horace Grant was the one who kind of was leaking information or whatever to Sam Smith, who wrote the Jordan Rules book. Mm-hmm. And throughout the show, a lot of kind of negative light was shed on Horace Grant, saying MJ didn't let him eat, which kind of makes him come off like a bit of a bitch, I'm not going to lie. But the really confusing thing to me here is Scottie Pippen, exactly like what Stacey said. It showed the facts. It showed what actually happened. It didn't show something that, there's an air of controversy around, like Mike saying that Horace Grant did something that he may or may not have done. There's footage of Scottie Pippen sitting out of the game because the play wasn't drawn up for him. And then he, like Stacey said again, admitted to it in the footage. He said, yeah, that happened, and I regret it, whatever. And then, again, Stacey said, perfect points. Michael Jordan said there would be no Jordan without Pippen. So he has nothing at all, in my opinion, to complain about. I'd love to hear more from Pippen on the matter because he hasn't really touched on it that much. I think the news came from an agent or sports reporter, something like that. But to me, as far as, all this controversy, people not liking how they were portrayed, as a fan, I think it's a good thing because I wouldn't want something that's engineered to make everyone who is a part of it happy. I'd rather have something that's real from the producer's perspective or from the main character's perspective. So whether it makes everyone happy or not, that's not really Jordan's concern. And to me as a fan, I like that it's more real like that he's not concerned about people's opinions.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, the biggest thing in my eyes is that, both of these guys were on the documentary. They signed a waiver, they went on that documentary, and they said what they needed to say. I feel like it would be different if, they didn't have the chance to go on the documentary and say their thoughts, but they had a chance to say whatever they wanted. I mean, maybe they did and it didn't make the final cut. I don't know. But, they were there. They signed the waiver. They said what they said. I don't know. That's my thought on that. But kind of one last thing before we wrap up The Last Dance. With the documentary, we saw a lot of special guests. We saw David Stern. We saw Kobe Bryant. We saw President Barack Obama, or as how they labeled him in the first episode, Chicago resident, which they quickly fixed in the next day. So, seeing all of those special guests in it, was there anyone that you guys thought was left out or that should have been in it? Even people that never really, played with MJ, came on and talked about him, said a few words. Was there anyone that you guys thought was left out that probably should have been included, or it would have been beneficial to have them included? Stacey, we'll start with you.
Honestly, I think they got everybody that they needed. Those were all the people who was pivotal into what happened in that time during the Bulls era. I really can't think of nobody off top that could have added on anything. I think they got everybody.
Okay, Mike?
I would have liked to see Karl Malone, see what he had to say. That's the only... All right, so the next one, I ain't gonna lie. Look, they should have had Skip Bayless. Now, hear me out. Dude is the biggest Jordan fan. Could you imagine on the dock, watching the dock, then all of a sudden it pans in, you see the Jordans on first, and it comes up and it skips old ass sitting there. They should have skipped. I could see him already in the dock saying some crazy stuff like, yeah, I mean, I saw exactly what Michael could be, and this is why LeBron will never be as good. Just
That's
something
exactly
like that.
why he
I need
shouldn't.
that.
That's exactly
He
why
should have
he's
been on
not
it.
in there.
He's like Jordan's biggest fan. Like, come on. Like, he's the biggest fan of Jordan I've ever seen in my life. Like, it should have been Skip. Skip deserved that show. He deserved to be on that roster.
Okay. Ben, any ads you want to make?
Yeah, Karl Malone, like Mike said. I do know that they did interview him, though. I've seen footage, and he just gave, like, absolutely the worst interview that he could have given. They were asking him about how Mike stole the ball from him that led to that game-winning shot in Game 6 in '98. And he was like, nope, don't want to talk about that. Not going to talk about that. Michael Jordan, he's like, Michael Jordan didn't beat me. The Bulls beat me. Whatever. He was basically just refusing to credit MJ. He said MJ is the greatest player of all time. However, he's whatever built up to be this, and it's not MJ that did all that. It's the Bulls that did that, which I think is a good point. But I can see why it didn't make the doc because, like Horace Grant's point, MJ produced it, and he was also Malone was being like super aggressive, defensive, I guess, when they asked him about the steal. But it would have been cool to hear from him though. And then as far as someone who didn't get the chance to play against Michael Jordan, LeBron. It would have been cool to hear from LeBron.
Nah. Jordan ain't loud. Hey, LeBron ain't been on no Jordan doc. It's not gonna happen.
I'm signing with that.
I just thought of a player that it's probably the same way as LeBron, but I thought that he should be in there. Just thought of Shaq. I would like to hear from Shaq. Because he's the one that led the way to eliminating the Chicago Bulls in the playoffs without Jordan, of course. And also I think Shaq was probably like the second biggest star in the NBA during this time. So it'd be nice to get his perspective of him trying to topple Jordan and everything.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Ben, though. LeBron was going to be the one guy I said, aside from Karl Malone. I definitely agree with that. He was kind of, everything I've seen on Facebook, a lot of people came up with Karl Malone. And I was kind of surprised that he wasn't, because he was always kind of, he had really good sportsmanship. Even in the Last Dance, they showed him, like, after they lost, he went on the bus and, like, said good game to everyone, which is crazy. Like, who does that, right? No, I definitely think LeBron would have been a good addition, just because, Jordan is the GOAT of his era. LeBron's the GOAT of this era. I think it would have been cool to pay some respect. I'm not asking LeBron to come on and say, like, oh, yeah, MJ's the GOAT. But, like, I think it would have been cool to see him say a few words, even if it was just something brief. Another addition I would have liked to see was Vince Carter or Tracy McGrady. And the reason being for that is because I think it was the 2003 All-Star game. The only reason MJ made the All-Star roster was because, like, Vince Carter and Tracy McGrady, like, fought for him to be on a roster spot, which I think was kind of cool. So I think that would have been kind of cool to see them talk about him. But yeah, that's kind of it, and we'll kind of move on, close off the Last Dance chapter. But yeah, Stacey, I agree with what you said at the beginning. Sundays are gonna suck now.
No,
yeah, me and my dad came up with a plan because I used to watch The Last Dance with him, that we're just gonna watch like a new 30 for 30 every Sunday night or something like that to just stay busy. Nice. But moving on, in better news, the NBA is making some headway. It looks like they may have a plan to return to action in July in Disney World, which is in Florida. So that's pretty big news. Obviously, nothing official has been reported. They've said that in June they plan on giving the teams all of the guidelines and the standard operating procedures of how everything's going to be run. And even today, I have Shams notifications on Twitter. He's just tweeting all these things about it, saying like, oh, constant checkups, coronavirus testing. And it's going to be very interesting to see how they run that out if just one guy gets a positive test in their little NBA world bubble. But yeah, we'll kind of get your thoughts on that. We'll start with you this time, Ben.
It's definitely exciting if they can find a way, and it's going to be hard to do this in a way that's really safe because there's so many players, so many team officials, coaches that you would need to be at the games, regardless of packing fans in the stands. It's a contact sport too, so it's not like you can really get away with distancing in some way. It's not like tennis or something like that. And July seems like it could be early. A lot of players, Joe Ingles, for example, and former players, Charles Barkley and Shaq, are calling for them to just scrap the season. Makes the most sense, although it would be tough because, like we've discussed before, a lot of teams, this is supposed to be their year for a lot of teams. Like the Lakers, Clippers, this is supposed to be their year. And, the Raptors, Celtics, all those sorts of contending teams this year that might not have a chance to contend next year, it's going to be hard to call it a season without getting to see what would have happened in the postseason. But I honestly do think that's the smartest thing to do. However, regardless of smarts, as an NBA fan, I would love to see the NBA come back, regardless of the smart thing to do. In Disney World would be interesting, and to see how they either go straight into the postseason or give them some like maybe 15 or so warm-up games. Before that point, it'll be interesting to see how they kind of handle that. But regardless, as an NBA fan, I'm excited to see the NBA come back. I'm bored of watching highlights. But as, kind of just like a citizen in general, not sure it's the smartest thing to do.
So I just want to clarify. Do you wish the season would get scrapped and just kind of end, or do you kind of want them to play it out?
I have mixed feelings.
Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I mean, it's unfair, especially state by state, because some states are having slower opening procedures than other states. So like some of these guys haven't worked out since their last NBA game. Enes Kanter has said that. Gordon Hayward has said that. Jason Tatum has said that. It's just hard for them to like get a ball in their hands and go out to a court and play or whatever. So it's definitely tough in that stance, and it also leads to the big question is like, whoever wins, do they get an asterisk next to their name when they win the title?
No such thing as an asterisk next to a title-winning team to me.
Really, even throughout all this weird season stuff?
Because everyone's going through the same stuff, so
True.
Doesn't matter. It's like Warriors got lucky because the Cavs were injured in 2016. Raptors got lucky because the Warriors were injured in 2019. But a chip is a chip, end of the day.
Fair. All right, Mike, what are your thoughts on all this?
Yeah, I ain't got no mixed feelings. I need the NBA back. I need the NBA back yesterday. Somebody somewhere is getting paid lots of money to make sure that it's safe, make sure everything's working. So I just need them to do their job. I'm selfish like that. I love the NBA like that. My Lakers are in prime position. I need them back. I need all that. I need it back. Look, man, as long as it's safe, they find a way to make it work, man. I'm with it. Like I said, someone's getting paid a lot of money to figure out and make sure we're able to view the playoffs. I do understand the point of, guys got to get back into rep shape or practice shape or game shape, however you want to call it. I seen a couple of tweets about maybe they're still talking about whether it's going to be a couple of regular season games or exhibition games, something just to get the teams revved up. I'm for that. I want them to have a little period where they get some games in and then they rev up to the playoffs. But I definitely want to finish the season. I mean, I can't, like, to your question about the asterisk, I can't call it because, I mean, if we have the playoffs and the teams are there and they're fighting 7-game series all the way up to win a championship, who are we to say it's an asterisk because the season got put on hold for a long time? They still went out there, won those games, put themselves in their position to get whatever seeds they'll have when the playoffs come around. So I'm all for it. I hope we can get it figured out sooner than later. I hope it's safe. I hope everybody's able to stay healthy during it. But I'm ready to get the playoffs started, man. It's my Lakers time, all right? I need that.
Not if the Celtics have anything to do with it. Stacey.
Hey, we'll see.
Stacey, what are your thoughts on all this?
Oh, I'm for restarting the NBA season. I'm all for it. I mean, in the whole picture during this whole pandemic thing, life has to go on at some point. We got to go on at some point. And as long as we got these safety measures and we keep practicing them and all that, then everything will be fine. I am interested to see how they're going to squeeze all these teams in, I guess, one place and how they're going to play out the games and everything. But I think they can make it work now. As far as going straight to the playoffs versus restarting the regular season, I think they should restart the regular season. I would hate for teams that's not in the playoffs go down there just to be a warm up for the playoff team. Just let them continue on the season. And, there are like draft pick implications to continue on the season, who's going to get the lottery picks and all that stuff. So, let them play out the rest of the regular season schedule, then go to the playoffs as normal. But I'm all for the season getting back to where we left off at. I'm all for it.
And if it does come back in July like they want it to, another thing that we're going to have to start talking about is, the whole adjusted timeline. When's the free agency period going to take place? When's the draft going to be? How's that all going to take into effect? Will the next season be delayed? And obviously, if they're starting it in July, I would hope they delay it at some point next season, so it's not kind of just back to back for them like that. But that's definitely some questions we're going to have to talk about when they kind of release more information for us on what's going to happen moving forward. But kind of moving on from that topic, another rumor that's been going around the NBA world is that the Wizards are looking into trading Bradley Beal, Stacey St. Louis native, and they're looking at trading him to the Nets. That was leaked from an insider with the Wizards organization. Kind of wanted to hear your thoughts on that, if you think it's a good fit going to Brooklyn, what they could possibly get in return for him, and if you think it'll actually happen. Stacey, STL, start us off.
Yes. All right. First of all, I'm all for Bradley Beal going to a contender, finally, a playoff team, finally, get him out the Wizards. I was upset that he signed that 2-year extension to stay with the Wizards. The Wizards they dead in the water. They not going anywhere. So get him out of there, get him to Brooklyn. And I like the Brooklyn Nets as far as them being a contender. Obviously, we've seen the moves they made over the past few years. They are building a championship team there. And him, Kyrie, and a healthy KD, who knows what's going to happen. I think they can run the East. Now, here's the thing. If they do this trade, the Nets going to have to give up a lot to land Bradley Beal. They're going to have to give up either LeVert, Dinwiddie, a lot of draft picks, and even other players. Maybe the Wizards going to ask for Joe Harris or Jared Allen or something like that. They're going to ask for those top-tier players on the Nets roster and some picks. So it's going to be pricey for the Nets. And then also Bradley Beal is going to be looking to get paid too. So you're going to have to max him out. Then you're going to have like 3 max players plus DeAndre Jordan's contract on your books. And how is that going to work out for your bench? Because in the NBA, we all know in the NBA, you got to have a bench. You got to be 8, 9, even 10 deep to win the championship these days. So far as if the Nets can work out their depth and the whole contract situations, I'm all for Bradley Beal going there. And if he go there, I'm definitely going to get a jersey, the black Brooklyn jersey. Hopefully he keep the same number. I'm going to get it, but right now I'll just wear this. But I'm all for it.
All right, sounds good. Mike, what about you?
Well, if they can get the trade pulled off, that would be interesting. Washington, I'm trying to think of a reason. I mean, because you still got John Wall under contract. He's still on his max deal. He's coming off injury, so no one else is really trading for him. I mean, your best bet is to wait it out. I mean, trading Bradley Beal, you're probably going to get younger players back. I mean, it might work as far as for the Wizards. Now, on the Nets side of things, this is a no-brainer. You bring Bradley Beal in with Kevin Durant, even a fraction of what Kevin Durant was, and Kyrie Irving, I think they're immediately Eastern Conference favorites, finals favorites to go to the finals. So, I mean, that's just a 3-headed monster. That's a bucket from anywhere at any point of the field. You got a shooter in Bradley Beal. You got Kyrie Irving and a ball handler. You got Kevin Durant, the ultimate insurance card. So, I mean, that gets them to the finals easily. I think they'll take care of anybody in the East. But I got to see what they're going to put around those guys, because like you said, they'll probably lose Dinwiddie. They might lose LeVert. So that's some scoring right there. They might lose some of those vets like DeMar Carroll or maybe Jared Allen, the young guy. I'm not sure. So I would have to see how the trade ships up. But as far as for the Nets, for Bradley Beal personally, I mean, it'd be a great deal. If he's over individual success and he doesn't mind being a third option, because most of his career he's been a second and first for the last couple. But if he doesn't mind being a third option, then, the sky's the limit for that team.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm the Nets, the only people that are untouchable, in my opinion, would be Kyrie Irving, Kevin Durant, and even Jared Allen. I would consider Jared Allen untouchable just because of his age and how he's been progressing. If I'm the Nets, I'm willing to give them pretty much anything else they want to get Bradley Beal because, Mike, like what you said, I think Stacey said it too, they're instant contenders with Bradley Beal. They're favorites, heavy favorites to get out of the East. And that scares me as a Celtics fan. So I hope they can't pull it off. Ben, what are your thoughts?
First of all, likewise, if Beal goes to the Nets, I'm giving up the Raptors ever contending in the playoffs again for the next 5 years, at least. But like a lot of people have mentioned, I don't know how they're going to afford to pay all three of those guys, plus DeAndre Jordan. And we all know the Wizards aren't going to take on DeAndre Jordan's contract at his age. The Nets a year ago were a team loaded with young talent. And they're kind of trading that for stars right now. So D'Lo's already gone. If they make this trade, it's easily LeVert, Dinwiddie, Jared Allen possibly gone. At least 2 out of 3 of those guys. But to me, if the Nets can find a way to hold on to Joe Harris in this trade, then I think they undoubtedly should, because he's the perfect piece to kind of complement all those ball-needy guys. Like, Bradley Beal kind of needs the ball in his hands to do what he does. Kevin Durant, same thing. Kyrie Irving, same thing. And they can find ways to compromise among the 3 of them. But to have a spot-up shooter, one of the best in the league like Joe Harris, kind of just sitting in wait while those guys draw the defense, I think he's the perfect piece to have alongside the 3 of those guys. So if they can find a way to work a trade that doesn't involve Joe Harris, they 100% should do that. And yeah, like everyone's saying, for the Nets, this is a no-brainer. If you can get this to work any way you can get it to work, give up whoever you need to give up. You gotta get that kind of big 3. It would be one of the better big 3s we've seen in a long time. So it would be a scary, scary sight for sure.
And I think the Wizards are in a situation where it's time to blow it up. I mean, they've tried this experiment for too long now. It's not going to work. Move on. They're not going to contend right now.
No, regardless of what John Wall says, if he comes back even 100% of what he was, he and Bradley Beal together before John Wall got hurt when he was one of the best point guards in the league, still were not advancing to the Eastern Conference Finals. So
yeah, not at all. Not even close.
Yeah.
And guys, we're talking about the Nets, so I'm trying to tame myself right now because, and you guys said that all these Nets players need the ball in their hands. That's another star that's taking the ball out of Kyrie Irving's hands, and he's not gonna like that. So I mean, Ben, me and you, we got that on our side. So say that does happen, Kyrie Irving will find a way to screw it all up. We haven't even seen Kyrie play with KD yet. The whole reason he wanted to leave LeBron is because he wanted to be the number 1 guy. He wanted to be the star. What's going to happen when KD comes back? And then you add Bradley Beal on top of that? That's not going to look good. That's going to be a mess. I'm telling you that right now. I mean, they're a scary team on paper, but chemistry-wise, that won't work out, and in my opinion. But then again, maybe he's changed. I don't think he does change, but I don't know. Maybe. We'll kind of move on from that to our next topic. This one hurts me, but he was stupid here. Paul Pierce released his top 5 players list. Highly, highly, highly questionable. His top 5 in order was Michael Jordan, Kareem, Bill Russell, Magic Johnson, and Kobe Bryant, with the notable exclusion of LeBron James. Obviously, these guys faced off each other all the time and in the playoffs, and they were kind of button heads all the time. But leaving him out of the top 5, that's a bold move. Stacey, as the LeBron lover here, LeBron sexual.
Oh,
Take it away.
I think we're going too far with it, but but I, Paul Pierce with these takes. He's obviously still upset at LeBron getting buckets on him. He's still upset about that. He's still upset about LeBron eliminating him. He's still upset about 2013 when he was with the Nets and LeBron just went off on him. And he asked to guard LeBron for that game too. I don't know I really don't know what to say about this other than is it jealousy, hatred? I don't know. I don't know what's the deal with Paul Pierce and LeBron. I don't know. I think he's trying to elevate himself as a small forward. He want people to remember that he was great, which he was. But how you gonna leave LeBron out your top five? LeBron should be in anybody's top five of all time. Anybody, whether you like him or not, you gotta respect what he's done in the NBA. I don't get it, Paul. I don't get it.
Okay. Mike, what about you?
I mean, what can I say, man? Pierce just hating on Bron. I mean, that just is what it is. I mean, it's the guy he went against in the playoffs a lot. It's no different than, a guy like I think Bill Laimbeer was saying, well, I think LeBron's the greatest, and he went against Jordan. But I mean, his Pistons beat down Jordan. So, maybe Paul Pierce is just seeing LeBron from another light. I mean, we obviously know he's top five, but I mean, I don't know. Paul Pierce, he says a lot of questionable things. We shouldn't be surprised at this point at what Paul Pierce says. I mean, LeBron is easily my top five. I got him top three. I ain't gonna tell you where he at. You know what I'm saying? I ain't getting into that. But I got him. If you got him below top three, you got to really reevaluate that. So I don't know. Paul Pierce is just pulling another one on us.
Yeah, and that was my thing looking at this too. I mean, if you don't have LeBron James top five, you're freaking insane. Mm-hmm. If you don't have LeBron James top three, you're freaking insane. So to not even have him in the top five, that's sus, Paul Pierce.
Mind you, these aren't bad names. He chose.
No, they're not. But
not at all.
But
I mean, that's tough. That's tough. Ben, what are your thoughts?
To me, the only person who should be, other than Michael Jordan, obviously he's, to me, the GOAT. The only other person who should even be mentioned above LeBron is Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And I still have LeBron number 2 all time. But if you tell me Kareem is better than LeBron, I'm not gonna call you an idiot. However, if you tell me LeBron is not in your top 3, that's a different story. If you tell me LeBron's not in your top 5, I don't even want to listen to you talk about basketball anymore. And this is, like Mike said, not Paul Pierce's first questionable take. He said he was better than D Wade. And I'm not saying Paul Pierce is a bad player, but he's definitely said some questionable, mind-changing stuff in his career as a member of the media. So to me, this is not surprising, but it is stupid. LeBron is the second best player of all time, and he, I think, has a chance in his career with a couple more rings to move into that number 1 spot. So to have him out of your top 5 at this point is absurd.
I agree. Paul Pierce has definitely, had some questionable moments as a media member. So hopefully he can fix that. What you said about him and D Wade, though, I'm not upset about that. I'll never have a problem with a player saying he's better than someone, because that just shows confidence.
Yeah, confidence, yeah.
Because at least that's an arguable thing. Someone could argue that he is better. If he was coming out saying I'm better than MJ, I'm better than LeBron, okay, humble yourself, Paul Pierce. But
I mean, it's a debate. I would say D Wade's better, but it is and I get the whole confidence thing too. He's obviously betting on himself or whatever, but
yeah, and I would too. Don't get me wrong. I would completely agree with you there, but I don't have a problem with him saying that. I guess it's not one of the top 5 guys, but him not having LeBron in the top 5, that I have a problem with, and you guys know my feelings towards LeBron. So that one hurt. Kind of moving on from that though. This wasn't originally going to be in the podcast, but we were talking about it before we started recording, so we figured we'd add it in. Kind of NBA 2K21 is going to come out soon, or not soon, a couple months. It's usually in the fall, I'm pretty sure. September, somewhere around there. I don't know.
Yeah, it's October.
Okay, so perfect. We're talking about, potential cover athletes. This year we saw AD on the cover, and I think was it Dwayne Wade as the legend edition?
Yeah.
Right, in his Vice jersey. Okay. So we were talking about, potential 2K21 cover athletes, and instantly we pretty much said if Kobe Bryant's not on the legend edition, something's wrong. Maybe even you see him as the regular cover athlete too, but Kobe Bryant's definitely going to be a cover athlete if not 2K screwed up. But as terms for like the regular edition, or if Kobe's on the regular edition, who's going to be on the Legends edition? So kind of want to hear your thoughts on who you guys think could possibly be a cover athlete for 2K21. Start with you, Ben.
I mean, like you said, to me, no brainer. Pay respect to Kobe. He should be on the Legend edition. And someone that we had discussed before that I was kind of on the fence about, but looking at it now, I think he's probably the best option is Jason Tatum. I think would be cool to see him on the cover. Obviously, Giannis would be your next kind of thought there, but he was the cover athlete just a couple of years back. So to stay in the sense of, new people, I think Jason Tatum had a breakout year. He's electrifying. He's young. He's, one of those, long, exciting athletes to watch. So to me, I think Jason Tatum is probably your best bet there. We had discussed some other people, but I'll let you guys mention them because to me, Jason Tatum would be the top guy to be on your 2K21 cover. And then in Canada, I want to see Pascal Siakam. We have our own covers. We had DeMar DeRozan a couple years back. Pascal had a breakout year. We did the 1 year. DeMar had his own cover, and it was only in Canada.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, right. Has Drake been on the cover yet?
He has not. I hope he's never on the cover. He's awesome basketball. I could have let no Drake.
All right, Mike, what about you? Who's your 2K21 cover athlete?
Yeah, like we were discussing earlier, man. I think the kid, Luka, out of Dallas with the Mavericks, I think he'd be a good cover artist. I mean, another year where he was in the MVP talk this year. I mean, obviously we didn't think he was going to win, but he was in the talk. He could have won Most Improved Player this year. He had the Dallas Mavericks in the playoffs, and they were dealing with a lot of injuries between Porzingis and some other players. So I think Luka's it, man. He's got the step back. He's got the swagger going. He's the hot new toy, that everybody sees and stuff. So I think he should be on the cover, man. It's kind of like when Steph Curry burst on the scene. It's kind of like that, the way he's able to score and get buckets, and he's not even like crazy athletic or anything. He's just hooping. So I'm gonna go with Luka. I think he should be on the cover.
Okay, Stacey.
Legends edition, Kobe for sure. There's no debate about that. As far as the standard issue, I got three names: Tatum, Luka. I agree with that. One of those two, and in the outside chance, Damian Lillard, just because I think he's one of the best players in the NBA. He's marketable, and we haven't seen him on the cover yet, and I think he deserves to be on the cover. Although he's with the Trailblazers and they kind of stuck in the middle of the road right now. Outside of the young guys, he hasn't had his shot yet. Why not give him a shot? So those are my three: Tatum, Luka, or Damian Lillard.
Okay. I was thinking they could go back to, I think, what they did in 2K17 when they had three cover athletes. Mm-hmm. Maybe they do like a combination of 3 or 4. I think it would be cool to see them do with the tagline, like the future is here or something like that. They always have some weird tagline. I think this year was like next, and the year before that it was they will know your name.
Yeah.
Those are them. But I think it would be cool if they did like the future is here with Luka, Tatum, Trae Young, John Morant. Any of those 4 I'd be fine with, a combination of those 4. Just because I think the league does have a lot of young talent right now. I think it would be cool to give them some respect. But then again, Stacey brought up a really good point in Damian Lillard. I feel like he does not get the respect he deserves. I think that would be kind of cool to see Dame on the cover. I think what screws him, though, is just being in Portland. I feel like that's not a very big basketball city, in my opinion. It's not a very big, marketable place. It's not in New York. It's not in LA. So I think that kind of hurts his chances a bit. But yeah, I mean, all of those guys I would be fine with on a cover. Is there any guy that you think, maybe not like a popular opinion, but has like a little bit of a chance to make it?
Definitely Zion. We said that earlier. It's definitely
True.
Zion's got a dunk, what I like to call a dunker's chance. So Zion, he's the next. Yeah.
If they give it to Zion, I'm gonna be so upset. I'm gonna be so upset, guys.
I like that Trae Young pick though. I didn't think about Trae Young, but I think he'd be cool too.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool to like kind of show off the young talent. But
Yeah.
Zion's on that cover. I'm gonna be upset because he did not play enough.
Yeah, no, 20 games in his whole NBA career, and then he's on the cover the next season.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. Just quickly though, I actually have a quick question for all you guys. If obviously they're gonna do Kobe on the Legends cover, would you rather see 24 or 8 on the cover of that Legend edition of 2K?
Both.
Yeah, it's gotta be both. They
Both.
gotta figure something out. I need both of that.
They'll probably put like 20 different Kobe's on it, like just doing like different moves.
Okay.
That would be my thought, but it has to be both, I think.
Yeah. Would you rather it's both on the same cover, or they have a 24 cover and an 8 cover?
I would say
On the
same.
same cover.
Now I gotta buy
Same
both. You're doing too much, man.
Because you already know Mike's going to buy him both of those.
I
The
gotta
Legends
get
editions
both
are
of
cheap.
those. Like I gotta have them. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
one cover, give me Kobe, give me Gigi on it. Let me get that.
That would be cool too to have
That would be
GG on it.
cool. Yeah, that would be sick actually.
Let me get that.
That would be really cool. Do you think they would add GG onto it?
I think it's a strong possibility.
I think it'd be cool, especially because they have WNBA and 2K.
Exactly.
Oh,
They might even add her as a player or something.
Yeah, that'd be sick. That'd be really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be really awesome. Definitely a possibility. I really hope they do that. 2K, take notes. But we'll move on and end the episode as we always do with the mystery player debates. This week we got a battle of 2 Hall of Famers. These guys have already seen the numbers because I leave them in our note sheet, so I'm sure their minds have been thinking about this for a while. But player A, we have a 6'8" small forward. Started his career in 1988 and played until 2004. He averaged 34.9 minutes a game. He got 16.1 points, 6.4 rebounds, 5.2 assists, 2 steals. He shot 47.3% from the field and 32.6% from deep. Player B, we have a 6'7" shooting guard, so note the position change there. He played from 1987 to 2005. He averaged 34.3 minutes, 18.2 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 1.1 steals, and he shot the ball at 47.1% from the field and 39.5% from deep. Who would you take, and who do you think they are? Go.
I think we all know who player A is. Player A is.
I have no doubts in my
obvious.
mind. I have
It's
no doubts in my mind.
obvious.
Who is it?
I don't want to be the guy who doesn't know, so I'm not gonna say anything.
All right, before we make guesses on who they are, who they are, who are you taking, player A or player B?
I want player A.
Why do I randomly think I know who both these players are?
It's a strong possibility.
Yeah,
I 100% know who
take
player
A.
A is.
All right, why do you think you know who player A is?
The time, the height, the position, the steals, and the points per game.
Okay. Mike's the most hesitant, so I'm gonna call him out. Mike,
Hey.
wait, before we do this, are you guys taking player A or player B? I think I heard one of you say player A.
I would take player A.
Ben said A. Stacey, what about you?
A.
You taking A or B? You taking A?
Nah, I'm gonna go different. I'm
A.
a shooter. I'm going player B. My bad, I jumped early. I'm going player B. He's shooting 39% from 3.
That is nice. That is nice.
39.
Yeah, more points per game too. That's
And
nice.
Okay.
And they're shooting about the same from the field, about the same amount of minutes. Obviously, player A, two steals a game, 5 assists, so he's an all-around player. But don't slack on player B. He's at 1.13 assists. He's a bucket. He's a bucket. Let me get that.
Just about 40% from threes. Definitely, that's a big stat.
That's a
That's
bucket.
a big stat. Yeah.
Okay. All right, Mike. Spotlight's on you since you're the most hesitant. I'm calling you out. Who's player A?
Play Scotty.
Correct.
Yeah,
Player A.
gotta
Scotty
be.
Pippen.
Gotta be.
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go.
Okay, he got it. Any guesses on player B?
Reggie.
Reggie Miller. Correct. Wow. 2 for 2.
I was just about to say.
That was quick.
Ah.
That was a quick one, guys. That was a lot faster than I thought. I figured player A was gonna be like that really quick, but player B, you guys got that quick.
Like I swear, when I looked at it like 2 seconds ago, I had no clue, and then I just looked again and I was like, oh, 2.0 steals, gotta be Scotty. 39% from 3. Oh, that's Reggie for sure.
Do you guys stand by your decisions now, knowing who they are?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna stand by it. I'm stand by it.
Wow, so now we have a debate between Reggie Miller versus Scottie Pippen.
Hey, look, it's a debate. It's a debate. I
It's
mean,
tough. Reggie Miller is easily one of the top 3 shooters of all time. So
my boy David,
Scotty's
he called Reggie a light-skinned Michael Redd. I don't know, man. You gotta put some more respect on his name. Reggie was nice. Now, hold on.
So let me ask you this:
Scotty's the better all-around player, though.
yeah,
I would say
for
Scotty's
sure.
all-around game.
For sure.
same.
So let me ask you this: if you took Scottie and you put him on the Pacers, and you took Reggie and you put him on the Bulls, how are these stat lines looking?
Probably about the same.
You think so?
I think Reggie
Scotty
would take
I
a
think
jump.
Scotty would average more points.
Scotty will go
I think
up
Scotty
to
will
about
go up.
like he was like the number one option when Jordan was gone though, and I don't even think he averaged 20, so he probably get up to around 19, 18 points a game. Something to me. That's me.
Okay.
No, I think they would both jump.
You think they would both jump?
Reggie Miller as a shooter next to Jordan, I think his stats would jump a little bit. Maybe not jump, but at least stay the same.
I think
I don't
Reggie
think
would
Steve
stay
Kerr
the
would
same.
like that.
Yeah, and then Scotty for sure is the number 1 option on his team would jump.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if those roles were reversed, and Scottie was in Indiana and Reggie Miller was in Chicago, are you still picking the same players you picked?
Yeah, I would still take Scotty.
Mhm.
I'm gonna still go Reggie. Yeah, I think Jordan and Reggie could have got it done.
Interesting.
For sure they could have. Yeah.
I think Jordan and Reggie, because I mean, granted, Scotty took the better defensive assignments, but I mean, Jordan was still a defensive monster.
Mhm.
So in this case, if you got Jordan on the best defensive player, you still got Reggie Miller to run your offense through. So you wouldn't lack offense, which is sometimes what they lack. Go ahead.
Well, they would have went 6 for 6 though with the Jordan Reggie combination. I don't think so.
I don't know, because my doubt now you asking me my doubt in Jordan. I mean, at the end of the day, Jordan's still on that team. So Reggie, Scotty, Baron Davis, Horace Grant, it don't really matter at that point. But I mean, I get your point though, because Scotty was pivotal to that team. But I mean, I don't know. I think Mike still get it done.
If Reggie Miller was on the Bulls at that time, they may have been like the budget bad boys.
The budget bad boys.
Do you imagine the trash talk going on in those games?
Oh man, crazy, mad trash talk, and they giving you buckets. And
there's nothing you can do with the trash talk because they can back it up.
And throw Rodman on that team. Imagine him just getting boards. Reggie Miller still out the 3-point line. Come on, man, they get it done.
Okay. Do you think they'll have another chip?
Are they staying together? Is the question.
That's the thing. I think the Bulls could have won again if they had more opportunities. So
okay, so
this is how we're gonna end this episode. Yeah,
let's attack that because who won the next year? 99 was, the Spurs.
The Spurs.
Could they take down David Robinson and Tim Duncan?
Keep in mind though, that was like the decline of David Robinson, and that was I think rookie Tim Duncan.
Hey, look, decline David Robinson. They were still them Twin Towers.
He was still nice, yeah.
And rookie Tim Duncan was crazy.
Was also nice.
They both put up numbers, but I mean, this is like
this
is the Chicago Bulls. Like,
but see, it's the matchup.
You're right. I don't know if the Bulls would won that 7th ring. I don't know if they was gonna beat that Spurs team.
It would have been tough. Because who really on the Bulls is going up against at the center position is going up against David Robinson. You can throw Rodman at Duncan, but you're gonna put Luke Longley on
Winnington, Bill Winnington. Look, I don't know.
Look, they was getting cooked by Karl Malone.
Robinson
Imagine that.
Yeah,
that's the thing, man. It would be tough to match up with their height, but at the same time,
Jordan.
Who's guarding Jordan?
Who's guarding Jordan?
That's Mike's go-to argument. Who's guarding blank?
Hey, it's always that. That's why you always be one of those who's on your team.
Yeah, but eventually you're gonna get my bad. But eventually you're gonna get figured out, and somebody was gonna figure out the Bulls at that time, and why not be Spurs?
And this is also Jordan, another year older. You saw how tired he was at the end of '98. He was like exhausted. So you gotta think about that. Were they ready to make an entire run like that? Was it gonna work? I mean, those are all things you gotta kind of factor in there. But
And on that, in the documentary, I think MJ even said like he felt he was just going into his peak where he was being able to kind of use both of his body and his mind, where before it had just been his body. So he felt like, and even in the documentary, I think he said like they definitely could have won a seventh if they had stayed together. So I mean, it's definitely interesting, but I don't know. It's something we'll never get to know. But do you guys think they would have got the ring? Well, that's how we'll end this episode.
The seventh, I'm gonna say no.
I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
I'm gonna say no. They already had missed Scotty for half a season. I mean, what we know now is health is crazy and unpredictable. Going to the finals that many years in a row, I just don't know. Would they even been able to keep everybody? Is Phil back?
But we're assuming everyone's back.
Yeah. All right. If everybody's back. Hold on, man. I gotta look at the Spurs roster. Y'all talk for a second.
I think with everybody back, it's still a no for me. It's still a no.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. And another thing to think about, my dad brought this up when we were watching the documentary. If Phil Jackson never came to Chicago, would they have won as many rings as they did? Would they have won any rings at all? How do you think that would have looked?
I think Doug Collins was a good coach. I think they would have got rings.
They definitely would have won. No, you're good.
I think they got a couple.
Yeah, but not as many.
I think they could have won as many because it's Jordan. You know what I mean?
But
it's not necessarily like obviously Phil Jackson was a good coach, great coach all time, but he always had some incredible talent to work with, whether it's Kobe and Shaq or Jordan and Pippen or whoever you're talking about. I think, and Doug Collins.
Go
ahead, Stace.
No, go ahead, finish. My bad.
No, I just think Doug Collins is a good coach. He led them to the Eastern Conference Finals the year before that. So who's to say that he couldn't have taken them further?
Yeah, but we saw the difference between Doug Collins and Phil Jackson. Phil had a system along with Tex Winters. They had a system. They had a plan that was solid. They got them championship. Doug Collins' thing was like, we gonna run through Jordan. Jordan's gonna do everything. Like he really didn't have like a system going.
Yeah, that's fair. So to that point, I guess I'll say they would have won rings, but not as many, because I think Jordan would have gotten so tired.
Yeah,
because you saw as soon as Phil Jackson took over, they demolished the Pistons, because the Pistons couldn't really keep up with more than Jordan having the ball, right? So I think they would have won rings, but not as many.
I'm taking the Bulls.
Hey, looked it up. Taking the Bulls.
At the further review, I'm taking the Bulls.
What changed your mind?
I just went and looked at the Spurs. I mean, Timmy's there. David Robinson was, like you said, he was only average 15. I'm like, dang, man, you throwing up big bodies. Jordan and Pip going to do the rest. I mean, I'm looking at the Spurs roster. I'm not seeing nobody like Sean Elliott, Cigar and Jordan, probably not. Barring health, though. Healthy, I'm going to take the Bulls. I'm going to take the Bulls one more time. I'm going to give them that 7-1.
Okay. And what are your thoughts on the Phil Jackson debate we just had?
If he never went there, like I said, I thought Doug Collins was a decent coach. I don't think they win 6 though. I think they get 1 or 2. I don't think they get 6 though. Not at all.
I'd agree.
I don't think it stays together. I don't think he has that power to keep it together like Phil had that power to keep it. You know, everybody wanted to play for Phil. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think Collins has that ability.
Exactly, because with Phil Jackson, it was more a team mentality, and he kind of taught MJ that listen, you can't do it all on your own. Right. And that's when he started relying on others and his teammates to get that done. So I definitely don't think they would have gotten 6, and I think it would have taken MJ longer to get one because he would have had to kind of realize that on his own, I think, because he would have just gotten exhausted. All right, so we're going to call it. That's episode 38 of the Crown Hoops Podcast. My name is Jordan Daly. With me, as always, we had Mike White, Stacey Collier, and Ben Okazawa, and we will see you guys next week. Peace.